Hey everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm glad you're here. I'm happy to be here. Today is Cobbler Day. Um, my dear friend Chris Fields, he's my brother from another mother, is having a birthday today. And he just recently subscribed to my website at jamieteachmetocook.com. And on his subscription application, he put a little note that just said blackberry cobbler. Now, he didn't request blackberry cobbler. He didn't tell me to make one, but I mean, I'm not psychic, but I kind of got the hint that he wanted to see how I make a blackberry cobbler. Now, I will be honest with you. It is blackberry season here. It's July. I went out with my bowl yesterday. I couldn't find a blackberry. They're all dried up or the birds have got them. So this morning I went out to the store to pick some up, and on the way I happened to see a few at the end of my driveway, so I picked them. And I got onto the store. Well, they didn't have any blackberries, any fresh ones. I thought, well, snap, what am I going to do? So I went to the freezer section, and they didn't have just a bag of blackberries. They had a bag of mixed fruit, and it had blackberries in it. It also had blueberries, it had strawberries. And I thought, well, it's going to have to be okay because that's what I've got. So I bought the bag of frozen fruit, and I went over to the fresh section, and I talked to the manager, and I said, do you happen to have any of the blackberries? No, I don't have any. I said, okay. So it's okay because he happened to have some fresh raspberries. Now, a raspberry is in the same family as blackberry. The taste is totally different, but I thought, well, why not? So I bought a little bucket of those fresh raspberries. So that's what I have got in this little bowl here. It is full of raspberries and strawberries and blueberries and, well, and the blackberries, the few of them. The little handful that I picked went straight in here. I'm embarrassed. You should have saw it. It was, well, you're going to see it because I took a picture of it. But I put it in this bowl, and I put a cup of sugar in. I put the zest of one lemon, and stirred it all up, and I've just let it sit for an hour or so, and it has macerated down to this because strawberries have a tendency they'll lose their juice if you put sugar on them. Anyway, so this is what we're left with, and it's wonderful. It's going to cook down fabulous. I added 3 tablespoons of cornstarch to this because we want it to be thick. We don't want it just to be a goopy mess. So, Chris, if you're watching, which you better be watching, please forgive me for not making a true blackberry cobbler, but I'm doing the best I can, man. You're getting a cobbler. Actually, he's not getting this cobbler because he lives in Tennessee and I don't. But I'll take a bite of it for him. How's that? Okay, so we have to make a crust. Usually, a cobbler, I can't say usually because everybody makes a cobbler different. But back in the day, I was reading up about how cobblers probably got their origin, and it was just a cobbled group of stuff that was left over. So they might have had some apples left over, you might have had some blueberries left over, you might have had some pumpkin, you might have had whatever left over, and they just put it together, and then they covered it with a biscuit topping. Now, I love a biscuit topping, but I also like when you roll that biscuit dough out flat and it makes more of a crunchy crust. That's my jam, and that's what I'm going to just use just a standard biscuit recipe and make this dough up for the top of my cobbler. And if you've never had a cobbler before, well, you don't know what you're missing, and I'm proud you're watching this video because cobbler is fabulous. It's basically just a fruit pie that doesn't have a bottom crust. So it's spoon food. You can just spoon it out on your plate. What's not to love, seriously? Alright, so we're going to start out. Now you can use your biscuit recipe if you want to. You can use the one that I'm going to put, flour everywhere, on my website for you to download if you want to. Doesn't matter. You just need a good crust recipe. And this one works. I go at it with 1.5 cups of, I'm using self-rising flour. If you want to use plain flour and put your leavening in on your own, that's your business. Knock yourself out. And if you watched my biscuit tutorial video, which was the very first video I ever made, OMG, you will remember that I freeze my butter so that it'll grate easier. And this one, look at that, it's just great. Right there. I'm not going to quite use this whole stick of butter because this is only like a cup and a half of flour, and I don't really think I need all that butter. Of course, we love some butter up in here, but we're also not going to be, you know, gluttons. So I'll leave, that's about maybe two tablespoons left over of the butter, and kind of clean it off. I kind of got it everywhere because I'm a maniac, but what are you going to do? I'm honest about it. Pick up my butter here. Now I'm just going to kind of fold it in till it looks a little bit like gravel, if that's a thing. Gravel, see? All that frozen butter just kind of blends in with the flour. Now I'm going to add, this is a 1/4 cup of buttermilk and a 1/2 cup of sour cream. Straight in. It's hardly fancy, but it's delicious. It is for me anyway. Change up. And now I'm just going to go at it and I'm going to stir it up. Now my mama would just use her fingers. She'd just go at it. But I feel like I get a better mix if I can stir it with my spoon. So, as it goes everywhere. And it comes together just boom, 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 see? I'm going to turn it out on my surface here. I'm going to put a little flour down so I can keep it from sticking. And just take that off. Well, I should have used my darn fingers to begin with because look, I'm just going at it anyway. Kitchen Improv 101. Welcome to my life. Let's get a little flour. Put it down on the board. I'm going to spread it out just a little bit. I'm going to take my rings off because I hate to clean a ring with biscuit dough in it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this dough out. I'm going to get all the yummy that's in the bowl because we don't want to leave anything. Ooh, get off there. All right, so kind of put some of the flour up on top. And we're just going to work it in a little bit. We're not kneading it because you don't really, this dough is not something that you have to knead because it's a crust. But I am folding it in a time or two on itself just to incorporate some more flour so that I'll be able to roll it out easy. And this feels just about right. See, it looks like just a big pooch. I'm going to spread my flour out again. Now, it depends on what kind of pan you're using to cook your cobbler. Now, I have pulled out this pan. Now, this is totally usable because, well, I mean, it'll hold 6 cups of fruit, which is what I have, and the crust. That's cutting it a little close because this thing is going to bubble up like crazy and it's going to get all over the place if I were to use a small casserole dish like this. So I'm not going to chance it. I am just going to move straight in with the beast. This big one. Now it might look like it's overkill because the fruit's going to spread out so much, but that's okay because that just means there's more crust covering the top. And it won't be such a mess in my oven because I know that it won't bubble out of this. So I've got this big one. So that's as big as I need to make my top crust to cover that surface, which is probably going to be about, I'm a terrible judge of length and measurement. So I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to eyeball it here. And you can watch. And it's not a science. There's nothing specific about this. And if you end up with a jagged edge or it just looks rough, whatever. It's food. It's not, you know, there's no food police going to come and get you. Or at least they better not come around here. They'll be busy all day. So, just rolling this out. And I think that's about right. Yep. And see, look, mine's not perfect. It's all kind of wonky looking. I don't care. That's good. That's what I want it to look like. So I'm going to take some Baker's Joy. I'm just going to spray it around the edge of my pan because it just makes the pie crust release easier after it's baked. So work smarter, not harder. I'm going to take my filling, which is, I didn't cook it or anything. I just let it sit here and kind of get friendly with its neighbors. So I'm pouring that in. Getting all that juicy, yummy goodness in. Now, you can see that it has settled and spread out considerably in the pan. And that is fine. More surface area to cover with the crust. So, because my granny used to do this, and my mama does it, when you make a fruit pie, you're supposed to put a little butter in it. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? So, let me get my little knife. And this little hunk of butter that I've got left over, I'm just going to chunk it up. I'm just going to plop it in here on top of my pie filling. Because you know me and sweet with salt. That's the word, salt. That's salted butter. And so as it melts and it's going to mix in with that pie filling, it's going to be dynamite. I'm just saying, it's going to be good. So I am going to get just a little bit more flour on here. And then I'm going to see if I can manage to roll this puppy up. Ooh, not much breakage. Look at that, just a little bit. And because I don't want it to be a crazy mess on the bottom of my pan, I'm going to fold that over. See y'all, improvisation. Make it work for you. All right, here goes. Cross your fingers, she fits. Shut up, look, it did. And I'm just going to pull down the sides a little bit. Where's my little knife? There it is. And I'm just going to kind of cut them off where I don't want them. Because I don't need all that crust on the side. But I do want some crust up on the side. Because, well, that's the way Mama does it. And Granny and whoever else in my family made a cobbler that I've ever ate in my life. Which, hello, do I look like I've not eaten a cobbler in my life? Shut up. Alright. Now, this side looks a little sad. He needs some more. So look, I've just cut a little strip. And I'm just going at him like this. And I'm putting it on there. And just patting him in place. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's not all about being pretty. It's about being delicious and being yummy. Really, really. Okay, so this looks a little wonky in places, and I love it. This is just the way I want it to look. That crust is going to be perfect. So, take my little knife, and I'm going to poke a few holes in the top just to let the steam out. Because if you're baking something and the steam can't escape, well, it's likely to get soggy on the bottom, and we want that crust to kind of get crunchy and flaky. So I just cut a few little holes in it like that. And then this is about 3 tablespoons of butter. You know me and butter. Anyway, I'm just going to look at that. It just goes straight on there. And I'm just going to spread it out a little bit. This is going to be the best darn cobbler ever, y'all. I'm so excited. All right, so I've got it spread out a little bit. Now, this is just regular white granulated sugar. I'll take some of this sugar. I'm just going to sprinkle it on the top. A couple of teaspoonsful or tablespoonful or whatever you want to do. It makes no difference to me. But I like sugar, so I go at it like that. Okay, so now it's pretty much ready for the oven. I'm just going to do a little housekeeping around here on it. So, I have preheated my oven to 375 degrees. It's ready. And I'm going to stick this baby in there. And I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. Let it go. And at 30 minutes, it's not going to be done. But I'm afraid that the crust will probably start to get brown. So I'll probably cover it with a piece of aluminum foil and let it continue to cook for about 15 minutes because I want it to be nice and done. So when that happens, I'll be back. Okay, y'all, this pie is almost ready to come out of the oven, and I have had a visitor drop by my kitchen. It's only my favorite person in the world. This is Amelia, and she's my niece, and I love her because she's my favorite. Yay! And she happens to like Cobbler. So it's a good day for you to stop by and see JJ, right? All right, so I'm going to get my trusty mitt because it's hot. So let's look at the countdown. Look. Beep. All right, I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to bring it out of the oven. Can you even stand it? Holy moly.
It's hot.
Look at that. Do you see that? Do you hear it bubbling? Can you hear the bubbles? Isn't it beautiful? Y'all, this thing has bubbled up and browned just beautifully. All that sugar that I sprinkled on top has kind of caramelized. It is dreamy and it smells so good. It smells like strawberry. Did you smell it? A little bit? All right, so, yes, hi. So, it's hot. Normally, I would let this sit a while. Oh, you want to smell? But because you're here with us and because we have a secret plan, I'm going to go ahead and dip up just a little. Now watch.
And we're going to have some...
We're going to have some what?
We're going to have some ice cream.
We are going to have some ice cream. Holy moly, look at this. I can't hardly stand it. But we do have to do one thing.
Get the ice cream.
I'm going to get the ice cream. And
then I got to go do some stuff with JJ.
You have to go do some stuff?
With JJ.
With me, right. All right, hang on. Don't go nowhere yet. I'm putting a little ice cream on here. Let me get one more scoop. All right. Now, are you ready for this? I'm going to put candles in it. Hang on. I don't know if it's going to stay. Anyway, here goes. Are you ready to sing? Okay, this is going out to you, Chris Fields. 1, 2, 3, Mimi, let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Chris Fields. We love you. Mwah. Happy birthday to you. Blow it out. Happy birthday, Chris. Y'all come see me at jamieteachmetocook.com. I would love to have you there. I would love to have you subscribe to my channel, like the videos, leave me a comment.
Bye.
Well, bye, y'all. Give me a hug. Thank you.
I'm going to give you a big old kiss. Mwah.